Hey guys, so it is Nitch here and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be telling you guys how to make a series. So there are going to be 3 parts in all to this whole thing. For the first part, I'm going to be talking about how to think of ideas, how to plan or script, and I'm going to go through cameras and all that kind of stuff. In part 2, I'm going to be talking about sets and filming, which includes angles, voice acting. In part 3, I'm going to be talking about which editing system you should start with, my favorite editing tips and tricks, and I'm also going to be talking about thumbnails and all that kind of stuff. So if you don't want to miss part 2 and 3, subscribe down below. You know, just a little self-promo. Okay, so first thing I'm going to be talking about is how to think of ideas. I think my first tip would be not to watch any LPS series while you brainstorm, script, or think of ideas. Whenever you watch an LPS series that you really like, you tend to steal that idea and use it as your own. I've seen many recreations of the same exact series, sometimes even the same scripts used, and it's not going to get you anywhere. Being inspired by something is totally different from taking an idea or a script and making it your own. Having a notes section in your phone is probably the most helpful tip I can ever give you when it comes to ideas. Your phone is probably something that you have with you most of the time, so whenever you feel happy, sad, angry, or anything, you write about it. It seems weird, I guess, but it's probably where I get most of my ideas. I feel like it's not only just releasing your emotions on paper, but it's like brainstorming everywhere you go. Remember in 3rd grade where they would tell you to like brain barf your ideas or whatever the teachers call it at school? Brain barf, brain fart, brainstorm, whatever, you know? Okay, so it's kind of like that. I call it speed writing in my notes. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you some of mine. If there are any spelling or grammar mistakes, that's because I don't go back and change anything. So the one with the black hearts were used for my short film called Goodbye. You should go watch it. And the one with the orange hearts were used for The Rebound. You should also go check it out. So on March 4th, 2019, I wrote this as an idea for my short film, Goodbye. Okay, so this is orange, which means it's like a rebound kind of thing. I'm gonna blur some parts out because it's a spoiler and I'm not gonna like do spoilers, so okay. The next tip I have is read. I feel like reading is really an underrated tip when it comes to story ideas. It takes you into the story a bit more than movies and stuff, so you get more inspired. And even if you don't feel like reading, pick up a book and see if you get some ideas. There are many ways to plan a series, and you should totally try and experiment to find your favorite way, but today I will be showing you guys 2. So the first one is traditional scripting. For this one, I'll just open a Google Doc, turn on some music, and start scripting. I take ideas from my notes usually, but sometimes I would already have a plot in mind and I would just start scripting right away. Okay, so this is an extra tip that I randomly thought of. I'd recommend scripting at night, trying it, seeing if it gives you more ideas, because like it does for me. I guess it's just me personally, but I just like doing it, so try it and see if it works. And also, I like listening to music while I script or do anything, so my Spotify will be linked down below. I'll read you some of my scripts, and some scripts are normal talking scripts, but some of them I like to write kind of like poetry-ish short films. Is that why you're so nice to me right now? No, I'm never nice, Rose. You should know that. From past experiences, I would have guessed so, but you've changed. I don't think so. Just be careful, Rose. I don't want you falling for someone like Finn all over again. You don't value relationships the same way now. You value yourself more, so you distance yourself away from other people. I know this will end someday. And you won't even try to keep contact because you don't think it's worth it. I won't betray you like everyone else did. You don't know that. Okay, so that was usually your normal scripting, writing, whatever you want to call it. So here's another way of planning. I usually use bullet points to do this. Now, of course, you could totally do this on a Google Doc, but I feel like a notebook gives you more freedom, so I'll show you some examples. I scripted this way for Hurts to Be Pretty and Don't Love Me. So I would write scene 1, 2, 3, etc. Sometimes I would name the scene, and then I would list out what happens in that scene. If there are scenes where I feel like I can't improvise the script or what they're saying, I would script that scene, but those are only for some scenes, not all the scenes. This way, it's less time consuming, and I would recommend it if you're too lazy to script everything out. One thing I wouldn't recommend is to not have a plan at all, or else your series will become like originally planned, my first ever series. Let's hope that doesn't happen, because that series suck. Now we talk about cameras. I've used 4 different cameras to film my videos in total. Let's go through them real quick. So the first thing I've used is my iPhone to film. The newer ones have really great camera quality actually, so it could definitely be a good start. You can take the video on the editor or the normal recording system. The amount of money you would have to spend on this camera would depend on the version you're buying. Keep in mind that a phone is a phone, so there are obviously other uses for it. So you're not just spending that money on just a camera, you're spending that money on other things that you can also do on the phone. Okay, second, I've used the Sony Handycam or the camcorder before. It's an okay camera to start with. Doesn't have the best quality I feel like, especially if you want that blurry background effect. It also has this grainy effect that I don't really like on my videos.
So I'm gonna give some examples of when I use that camera so you guys can see the camera in like different lightings, I guess. So for the camcorder, all of these videos were filmed by the camcorder, so you guys can see how I use the camera in different lightings and how good or bad it is.
So the third one, I've used the Panasonic Lumix. I highly recommend using this one. I usually use it in manual settings so I can play around with the lighting and the color concentration a bit more. Super easy to use. It makes the lighting pretty good as well. You can totally use natural lighting with this camera. So it's the camera that I'm using for this video and a lot of my videos as well. You're also going to need to purchase lens with this camera or else it's not going to focus when it comes to close-up shots. I bought the 43mm lens to go with them.
So for this camera, most of my videos are filmed by it. I would recommend watching the newer ones just because in my older videos I didn't really know how to use it, so it wouldn't be the best way to check out how good or bad the camera is.
The fourth and final camera that I've used is the Canon DSLR. That's probably not the exact name, but let's just roll with it. I've only bought it recently for school, so I don't know much about it yet, and by recently I mean like 2 weeks ago, so I haven't had a lot of time to experiment and play around with it. I know a lot of LPS tubers use it. I like the dull look that it gives while filming right now. I'm sure if I mess around with it a bit more, I can make it the colors more vibrant as well.
So for the Canon, I haven't filmed any videos fully using the Canon just because I don't exactly know how to use it yet. But in the Rebound episode 1, the Panasonic died, so I had to switch to the Canon. You guys can see the difference between the Panasonic and the Canon in this video right here. It's a pretty big change. Like, you guys can definitely tell that it's filmed by like 2 different cameras. They're both like very good quality. It's just I feel like the Canon blurs out like imperfections a bit more, and the Panasonic is more like you can see all of that stuff right there. So you guys can see the difference between the Panasonic and the Canon in not only like how the quality is, but the audio as well. It's a pretty big change in audio.
So right now I would say my favorite is the Panasonic Lumix. Here's the one thing that I don't recommend purchasing. It's the camcorder. In my opinion, considering it's almost the same price as the Panasonic, it's not really worth it. So that will be all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and subscribe down below for part 2 and 3 where I'll be talking about filming, sets, and editing, and more. So anyways, give this video a like and comment down below if you're confused on anything and if you want any advice from me, and I'll be sure to reply. So yeah, bye guys!